Welcome to EFT MBA Mastering Business Acumen with the help of EFT business experts. Learn the marketing, mindset, and skill set you need to create the EFT coaching practice of your dreams. Visit www.eftmba.com for more information. And now, here's the EFT training team that embodies the art and science of EFT. Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. And today we have some great information for you, something that we see over and over and over again with our students and our clients, and that is the big dream. So did you get involved with EFT because it helped you personally to resolve something that was really like this hairball, this unrelenting problem that you weren't able to get any resolution on with anything else that you tried? And then the common story that we hear is that you went on to tell everyone you knew about it, and you watched the videos, and you read the manual, and some of you got certified. It was making such a big difference in your life and in the lives of people that you use this with. And then you had a dream that, wow, the EFT is amazing. It could bring world peace to the Middle East. It could reduce violence and brutality and make the world a better and healthier place for everyone. That's like the common story. But then time passed, and you haven't figured out yet how to save the world, and you find that your focus is mostly on trying to get by and get more clients rather on the big picture. You've had some negative responses or lack of response that left you feeling stressed out. And when things feel scarce, your vision shrinks and energy becomes more frenetic and exasperated. And we're here to help you kind of re-envision, refocus, and see just how important this is and what steps you can take to ignite that spark again. So I'm here joined by my fabulous partner, Dr. Craig Weiner. Hey.
Oh, you're so biased. Hi, everybody. Welcome on. It's going to be a great show. And, it's so funny. Sorry to interrupt you, Craig. I just want to give out the number in case someone wants to call in. Please, thank you.
These shows are live, and we're here standing by to answer your question. And so to call in, call 347-215-6833. That's 347-215-6833, and push 1, and then you'll be in the queue. If you would rather remain kind of off the air but throw us a question, you can do that by going to our website, and that's EFTtappingtraining.com. And if you go to the very bottom of the front page and go to audios, the very first audio will be entitled Dream Big EFT Business, and that's, we're going to be having the live feed to our show, and you can also comment there. The comments will go on Facebook, and they're also on this page, and I'm monitoring the page. So if you don't want to be on the air but you want to ask a question, just shoot it in there in the comments box, and I will read it over the air. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew
thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, we want to make sure that people can access them, be able to ask questions, and at any time in all the different ways. So that's really important. We've been getting a lot of great feedback as far as emails and posts, just that, we're doing a great job, and really our vision is to be able to bring the subjects that make the greatest difference to you. Right? What are the problems that you're running against? What are the obstacles? What can we do for you and the subject? So please, that feedback is absolutely welcome as this show is created. So one of the things that I just wanted to say is that one of the greatest joys in working with new EFT students and people that are going through their trainings is that absolute passion and zeal for the difference it's making in their life, because as they're learning the techniques and they're going through their own healing, it's absolutely inspiring. Sometimes I'm moved to tears listening to what people are going through. when they're first learning. But there is a curve, right, that happens that at first there's that passion, that excitement, the sharing it, but then you have it, but then not everybody else in the world does. And we've all been subject to people that are absolutely passionate about whatever the subject is, whether it's their, the nutritional product that saved their life, whether it's the new spiritual path that they found, whatever it is. People, when they find their passion, it's natural to want to share it, but not everybody is going to be in the same place and ready to receive it in the same way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we share our passion a lot and it doesn't get met equally, it starts to bring us down a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's also how you speak about what it is that you do with your friends, family, and the general public, and that's why we spend an awful lot of time on this in the EFT MBA program that we do. So, but I want to share a story because I think it speaks to what we're really focusing on this week. 4 years ago, about 4 years ago or so, I got it into my head that I really wanted to have an opportunity to teach at a world-renowned retreat center. Now, I had been for many years teaching, organizing my own workshops and retreats, having people register, having some assistance doing the registration and the payments and all of that. But I just thought, wouldn't it be nice if I held a bigger picture that I would be invited to work in a retreat center doing EFT, where these very high-end retreat centers, they do everything for you. They register people, they market it, every last detail down to knowing that they knew that I like certain things in a certain way, and they just had it. I'll just walk in. It's all done. And we actually had that manifest for us. So we went, and we just got back last week from teaching in a place like this, and it took some time, and there were seeds planted along the way. But last year we got the invitation, and they schedule a year out. And it was just wonderful to sit there looking at the mountains and the water and watching the deep work that was happening with our students, and pinching ourselves and saying, "Wow, this is it! This is one of our big dreams. This has happened." And so I just love that when it does materialize. It boosts your confidence. It boosts your self-worth. It challenges you on many levels, and in a good way, an absolutely great way.
Yes, it does. I mean, so many times we're putting so much energy into different projects, right? It's just, I don't want to say it's like a gerbil wheel, but you're putting out a lot of energy in a lot of different ways. But when you put out that intention for something wonderful and extravagant and great that comes easily, and then you're just sitting in kind of the universe manifesting and giving that something special to you, and you just allow that to soak in. I mean, that's so much of what we're working for, is that like kind of that gift out of nowhere, that's something that comes to us easily, and it makes so much of the hard work and the effort just worth it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I love when those happen. They're just so magnificent and special. I mean, they don't happen all the time, but when they do, they're just beautiful, and they're like a gift from the universe. Absolutely.
I had another one of these happen last year for me when I really knew, early on in my practice, I knew that one of the things that was exciting about this work was the opportunity to do some really deep work with victims of some serious trauma. And last year, my dream was fulfilled by being invited to be part of a film doing matrix reimprinting on some victims of a terrorist massacre in Israel. And so, yeah, we need these bigger visions and mission statements, and what Tony Robbins calls BHAG, which is big, hairy, audacious goals. And it's okay that some of them change over time, but it's critical to have these and to hold these. And one of the most critical aspects of having a big vision for your EFT business is to stop focusing so much on what it is that you do and start focusing more on why you do it. There's a coaching term that maybe some of you have heard me say before, which is the bigger the why, the easier the how. So Craig, what do you want to say about that statement?
Yeah, I think that one of the messages that we give out a lot with really good intention is what we can do to help people, right? I mean, we hear somebody that has, this problem or this dysfunction or this thing, this physical ailment or this relationship problem or this financial problem, and we try to share with them our excitement about, what we do and how we can use tapping and how we can fix it. And we really come from that place, and sometimes that gets through. But a lot of times it doesn't move people to action, and then we sit there wondering why. And, there are many things that point to this. A wonderful resource is there's a wonderful TED Talk. God, I think millions of people have seen it by Simon Sinek, and he calls it, the model is the golden circle. And what he really says, and what we also know this to be true personally, is that we basically don't buy what people do. We buy why they do it. We're inspired to action. We're inspired to change behavior. We're inspired to move towards something and not just be still when we're inspired by the why. So in other words, what I want to say about that is that we have to remember as practitioners, why are we doing what we're doing? Why? What is the mission? What is the vision? What is the inspiration behind what we're doing to change lives, to be able to have families that are thriving? In other words, what is the message behind our product and our service? That is most often what is going to catch people so that they then act on a gut feeling and not just an irrational reason. That people need to be moved to action. We all need to be moved by action. So returning to the why we're doing what we're doing really is a huge difference that sometimes I think that many people forget to do. And so I want to get us back on the why. Why do you do what you do? Why are you so passionate about EFT? Is it because it's effective? Is it because it's quick? Is it because, it doesn't require drugs or surgery? Is it because, why do you do what you do, especially with regard to EFT? And that's a really important question that I wanted to make sure that we covered today.
Mm-hmm. So when you get into the meat of why you're doing what you're doing, it really brings up the passion piece. And passion is most certainly the driving force behind real success. So when you have a big vision and you're very passionate, passion doesn't happen because you want to fill your books. Passion doesn't happen because you want to pay your rent. Passion happens because you want to help change. Let's say on a smaller scale, you want to change the culture of a particular homeless shelter in downtown Seattle, or your passion is that you want to see every child go to school and have the ability to have these techniques in their fingertips, so that they can walk around feeling empowered about some of these learning challenges that they have, and the learning disabilities, and the ADD, and all kinds of issues that crop up in overcrowded schools. So when you have that big vision and that passion, the bigger your vision, the more that carries an absolute magnetic pull, and that is huge. You want to feel an overwhelming sense of joy and passion. You have to have big dreams on a soul level. We're talking about your life's purpose, your destiny, that which you were born to achieve here on the earth. And, we see this, we see that people are challenged by this in some of the work that we do. We have a workshop that we do only once a year. It's called the Manifestation Wheel. And part of the work that we do is is aligning your soul with what your ego wants, because your soul wants you to expand. Your soul wants you to reach that destiny. Your mission statement wants you to go for it. And your ego then quickly steps in, and your ego is that part of you. And let's make that even more narrow than just that ego. We're talking about mature ego. So we're not talking about the ego that just wants to consume. We're talking about the ego that really knows how to get things done in this material world. And when you make these big pronouncements and you make these big claims, this is what I intend to do, then quickly on the heels of that comes that little ego voice that says, no, you know what, you tried that before and you failed. You're not doing very well right now. What makes you think that you can do that now? Who do you think you are? And we know what to do with that small limiting ego voice, right? We know to tap, but sometimes we prevent ourselves from dreaming bigger and bigger and having bigger vision for our lives because we just stop there and we just say that's the way that it is, when it isn't at all. Another benefit of dreaming big is that you grow into the type of person who can actually achieve that goal, right? So if your self-confidence and your self-worth grows as a result of dreaming big, that becomes a bigger magnet for actually being able to achieve it.
Yes, and it does. And, we set up, I think of that for ourselves. I think of that as parents raising children, that if you create a container that's bigger, that's past the comfort zone, that's somehow larger than you're already existing, it creates a bit of a vacuum to step into. And, so often what we do is we base our next step on what we're comfortably achieving right now. Right? And that if we stretch out too far, it feels too big and we don't want to fail. So there is that continually need to start creating a container that's larger than where it's at, that's a little bit uncomfortable. And then we can step into that easier. We set up models for our kids to be slightly bigger than they're being so that they can step into something larger. And we need to continually do that for ourselves. For example, I was just thinking the other day we were scheduling our calendar of workshops for 2014. And we certainly had the workshops. We knew these locations were already set. We were going back and returning to these. And Alina and I have been having this dream of teaching in Hawaii. Well, we don't have a location yet. We don't have everything put in place yet. We don't have all those things, but we still put it on the calendar. Somehow we are stepping that within next year we're going to be teaching here on this date, and the details will come. And I love that example of doing that because so often we just go, well, which ones do we know we can do? Which ones are already in place? Which ones based on the past? Do we already have the connections and the this included? And so that stretch, ego goes, what are you talking about? You can't do that. You don't even know yet. How can you put that on the calendar? You don't have the place, the people, the time, the da-da-da-da-da. And you don't listen to that, or you hear that, and then you just put it aside and say, you know what, I'm still putting this on the calendar anyway, and that's sending the message to the universe that this is happening. I haven't gotten the call yet of somebody going, by any chance, we just had somebody that just contacted us from another part of the United States and said, would you come teach here? Totally out, now we're working it to go kind of further south and further west. But it's just that step of still reaching out beyond the comfort zone that's so important.
Yeah, I mean, if you really can't hold an image of how big your life can be, then you just won't get anywhere near achieving it. And dreaming small keeps you stuck in what you've already known. It's the same old, same old. You're just going to create more of the same. I heard an interview with Ted Turner. He's the founder of CNN and owner of the Atlanta Braves, and a man who's really achieved quite a bit in his life and is quite a philanthropist as well. And he said that his father told him to set goals that he'd never be able to achieve in his own lifetime. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So when you are struggling, you don't feel passionate about anything when you're struggling in your EFT business. It's hard to hold a bigger vision, to step back every once in a while and say, wow, that's my long-term goal. That's what I want to achieve. If I only have 1 year to live, and I'm reflecting back on all the work that I've done, this is what I want to see. I mean, it's hard to do that when you're really stuck in the muck of like not having a full client load or not being able to pay your bills. So, as an exercise, what I'd like for you to do is to open up your calendar for next week, or for the next 2 weeks, or just for the rest of the month, whatever view you happen to like on your calendar. And you're going to look at that calendar and of all your business appointments, and if you and just note if you're thrilled by what you see or not. Are you thrilled by what you see or not? Are you thrilled by the people whose names are on there for those appointments, the people that are coming to see you? And if you're not, then you really need to sit down and write why. It could be because you aren't working with your ideal clients. Absolutely. It could be that the type of clients that you're drawing to you are a drain because you're not working with your ideal clients. It could be that you aren't feeling secure about the quality of the work that you're giving those clients that are seeing you. It could also be that you are looking at how few clients you have on that particular day or that week. So once you've seen that and you've explored that, you know what to do. You can do a little tapping or a lot of tapping if you need to. Because really, the juice is in the passion. And if you're not feeling passionate about what you've got now, there's no way that that's going to snowball and reach and be able to spur you to think bigger and dream bigger.
Yeah, no, very, very true. I support that 100%. It just is also, sometimes I would look at, too, how, number one, take that in and do that exercise, and that's critically important. And sometimes you'll come to that morning schedule and you'll look over the day and things look great, and then you'll see that one person, right, or that one circumstance or thing that you've got to create that doesn't juice you. Beside just looking at how do I avoid that and not have that in my calendar, also really important to tap on what is it that comes up about that, right? So critical to use those as opportunities to go, okay, I'm really gauging my day to be 100% exciting, 100% inspiring, creating opportunities, and anything that doesn't show up in that light is an opportunity for me to tap on to see how that is a trigger for me for not having that. So, returning to your own tapping is just really critical.
Okay, yeah, and I will jump on my soapbox here to say something else that shows up quite a bit. And not so much with my clients, because I kind of call them to task, especially if they're my EFT MBA students or my business students. I'll call them to task on this, but in circles where I wouldn't just jump and say, okay, like let's really analyze this seriously. But just think in social circles and I belong to various groups that are full of coaches and that kind of thing. I often hear that people will stop themselves because, the signs aren't good. Or, this is just a little bit too hard and it's not in the flow. And it's all this law of attraction lingo that I hear for stopping people. Now, if everything that I wanted, if I didn't go through a bit of challenge and stretching myself to get there, life would be boring as hell. And it would and I wouldn't do half the things that I do. I wouldn't achieve half the success that I've achieved if I had stopped and said, "There's a road bump. There's a rock on my path, and I need to see what that's about." Instead, people quickly jump too soon to, "I'm just not going to do it. It doesn't feel in the flow." Most of the time, that's BS. Most of the time, that's your ego speaking and just masquerading as law of attraction. And so ask yourself, is it not fear? Is it fear that's stopping me? Really? Is it just me using some self-defense mechanism that I've learned long ago that when things get too challenging, too hard, I have this roadblock, I'm just going to tell myself not to go through it? And you can hear I'm very passionate about this because, unfortunately, so many people stop pursuing their dreams because of that voice that they have sort of felt is more law of attraction and not in the flow, versus really seeing what it is for what it is, and that is fear, good old-fashioned fear. And we all know what to do with that. Do some tapping. Craig?
Yeah. And what we know the result of the tapping is, I mean, there have been some great studies, for example, that say when you look for success, right, people want the evidence of success first, and that'll make them happy. When all the research and studies show that bringing an attitude of positivity and bringing that, how we think about what we do, when we bring that first, the success happens. So if what we know is between us and feeling that happiness and that joy and excitement are these things, and we know tapping works for that, then that's really, we're preaching it out there, and we have to be using it ourselves all the time. What is it that's between me and an attitude of positivity and optimism and inspiration? And we have those opportunities each day to be able to tap on, and once we shift that attitude and we have that bigger vision going on and we have a purpose for what we're doing and we have that magnetic attraction energy, that's when the success happens, that's when the opportunities happen out of the blue. And, that is the really simple equation that we need to get back to.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why we spend a lot of time in the EFT MBA program talking about ideal clients, niche, your purpose, your mission, those sorts of things. It's important. Right. It really is. And just to let you know, we've got another week before our EFT MBA program goes live. There's still plenty of time to sign up. If you send in an application for a review, we'd be happy to do a laser coaching business review for you. Just mention that you heard it on EFT Radio, this offer, and we will honor that and give you some laser coaching on your business. Just give you an overall review. Craig, I want to do an exercise with everybody that's going to really help them with this big vision stuff. But before,
great. How can I help?
Yeah, well, I certainly want you to participate, but I just want. There's a new study that came out on the difference between confidence and competence, and I would love us to do a show. So we have this thing that we do at night. We're like, write it down so you'll remember. So Craig, write it down so you'll remember. I want to do a show on confidence versus competence and talk about the study that came out and how important it is to be competent in your work. And that takes practice and skill and all of the things that we know makes for a good EFT tapping education. Got it?
It's written down.
Okay, super. All right, so let's do a little matrix style tapping here. So go ahead and tap on your finger points and your karate chop point over and over and over again. Karate chop, finger points, over and over and over again. Karate chop, finger points. Keep going until it feels so comfortable and natural that you can close your eyes if you wish to. And keep tapping. And I want you to just allow that part of you, that expanded part of who you really are, to show you a vision of how big your life can be, how big your practice can be sometime in the future. Some of you aren't visual, and that's fine. I worked with someone yesterday who said, no way, no how, I can't see anything, and we were still able to do an amazing matrix session because you can sense it. You can just put yourself there and sense it. What does that feel like? Or what does that hear? What is that? You're listening in on the vision. What is that? When you listen to it, what does that sound like? Keep tapping on your finger points and karate chop. and get more and more clarity about that big picture, that big vision that you hold for your EFT practice. I want you to see yourself in the future, or hear yourself in the future, or feel yourself in the future, actualizing that dream. Keep tapping on your finger points at Karate Chop Point. And I want you to look into the eyes of your future self, or connect deeply with that future self that's actualized that dream, that goal. And get any information that you can from your future self about all the whys, why they're doing it. And keep tapping on your finger points and Karate Chop Point, gathering all that information. Last question to ask your future self is, what is it that you need to know, if anything, about what's going to help you get to where they are? Most of the time, they're going to just give you confirmation that you're already doing it. You're already taking baby steps towards it, and that's a great feeling. Now, at the EFT MBA program, we have something that we use where we have a team that identifies the energetic signature. So see how that shows up for you, an energetic signature of your successful EFT business. And sometimes it's just, for me, it's like a color or an image or some kind of frequency or vibration. It's your unique thumbprint in the universe of the changes that you're making that are affecting masses. All right, I want you to take your hand and place it on your heart center and tap at the back of the hand at the gamut point, or just hold your gamut point. And I want you to bring in that big vision in through the top of your head, rewiring all the neural pathways with the knowledge that this is your future. Send all the feelings, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the taste of being there, having achieved that big vision, living it. This is your life. This is your work and your life and your passion. And you're sending that juice down to all the cells of your body, from the top of your head down to your little toes. And you're bringing in all those images, all the pictures, all the feelings, all of that into your heart center. You see any color or light, make that stronger and brighter. And then go ahead and exhale that out, sending it out through your heart center, your heart field, connecting with the matrix, bringing this reality to you. Exhale and send that 360 degrees out in every direction, like a torus. All righty. And you can open your eyes when you're ready and stop tapping.
Great. Thanks for leading that, Alina.
All right. Thank you very much. And we will see you in 2 weeks. You can check out our EFT MBA program. Like we said, we'll give you a laser coaching business review if you apply. And we'll see you soon.